I can't complain.
So you had an interesting case yourself, huh?
Yeah, I actually did. On the morning of March 7th this year, I was traveling from a place called Jasper, Florida, back down to Miami. And it was about, I don't know, about 3:45, 4 o'clock in the morning. And on the highways down there, the speed limit is like 75 miles an hour. So anyway, make a long story short, I'm driving down the highway. Like I said, it's about 3:45, 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm in a company van, and at some point, I could have sworn. I mean, I thought I was wide awake, but I can't justify how I got off the on ramp. You're on the highway, driving 75 miles an hour, and at some point, I veered off to the off ramp, and by the time I got to the top of the hill, the off ramp, I noticed there was a stop sign probably about 25, 30 feet away from me. And I'm doing, 65, 70 miles an hour. I slam on the brakes. I started sliding on the off ramp. I flew through the intersection. As soon as I flew through the intersection, two cop lights came on. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I made it over the intersection, pulled over to the side. Cop comes up to the window, and like I said, I can't thank you enough because that was definitely some type of investigation, fingerprints, all types of different shit that I've encountered from dealing with the policy enforcers. But this particular night, when he came to the window, he says, "Everything all right?" And I said, "Hell no, I almost died." I said, I, "Shit, I didn't realize there was a stop sign there."
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "License and registration." Now, mind you, uh, carrying cannabis with me is the usual course of business.
Mm-hmm.
It's part of everyday life with me. So I had an ounce of bud with me, sitting right in the little center console. All he had to do was search it, and it's right there in the open, and I don't hide it anywhere. But I gave him the identification, the registration to the company van, and he said, "All right, hold on." So I'm sitting in the car, and I'm like, man, because I'm leaving Florida from another court case that I had to make a special appearance in. So as he takes my license, he takes the IDP and the IDL, and he takes it to his car. I'm looking in the rearview mirror, and I can see him putting the flashlight on the identification as he's walking to his car. And I look through my rearview mirror, and I see his door open up. I see him take a step towards his car, and then he stopped. Then he called his partner over from the other car, and they have some words. And then I see him close his door to the cop car, and he walks up to the side of the car to me, and he hands me the identification back, and he says, "All right, well, you drive safe. Is there anything else?" And I was in pure disbelief. I mean, complete. He of everything that I've experienced with these individuals out here on the road, your program, your identification is what everybody needs. No questions asked. He handed me back my identification and said, "Have a nice day." Now, when I say more intense, I would think it's more intense for me. I've had more encounters than the average with the policy enforcers.
Mm-hmm.
So my circumstances might be a little different from everybody else, but I do suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder from
Mm-hmm.
dealing with them. So, it was a complete blessing. It only God sent for you to come into the information, for you to bring forth to the world, your contribution. And I'm telling you, you saved my life that night.
Wow.
You really. No question. I mean, again, you're doing 65, 70 miles an hour, and I mean, flying through
Right.
an intersection.
Right.
You know, no further investigation, no other words exchanged after they took that IDP and put the flashlight on it.
Mm.
So,
Well,
like I said, it might not have been intense to anybody else, but I've had more than my fair share of encounters with policy enforcers, and that was just
yeah.
unbelievable.
In a case like was you on the expressway?
I was about to get on what they call Alligator Alley. I guess
like someplace you don't supposed to be at.
Muskogee, Florida. There was nothing around. That's what made it even worse, because once you hit those type of places, you know, they look for excuses.
Yeah.
To encounter a taxable event.
So outside looking in to the police officer, you know, this guy's driving impaired, right?
Exactly. Something got to be
reckless.
Something. But you know what? That wasn't even a topic of subject at all. Not one question to why I was driving like that.
with the ounce of cannabis in the car.
With an ounce of cannabis in the car.
Mm.
Not one question. And I mean, if they're given the proper notice, they're supposed to adhere anyway. They're supposed to do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I am living proof. I'm a testimony that it's the truth. You are the truth. Like I said, that happened back in March. I haven't had any other instances since then, but I mean, for me, that was definitely a life-moving, life-changing moment for me. And I thank you.